computer and then okay, so let me go ahead and share screen. And here we go.
Welcome everyone to the RAM-Ready Pathway presentation. My name is Jesse Llanos. I'm a career counselor here at Fresno City College, and I'll let my colleague introduce herself.
And my name is Karen Henderson, and I'm a career counselor with the Career and Employment Center. We're so glad you have joined us, and we're a small group today, so please feel free to just jump in, ask us any questions that you may have. We also have the chat feature, so if you have any questions, please feel free to enter the chat. So we are the Career and Employment Center, and we offer several services to students and alumni. So if you're a currently enrolled student, we offer students the help with the career planning process. And we offer assessments, career exploration, and we offer this on an individualized, self-paced basis. And one thing I want to emphasize is it's totally okay, totally normal to be uncertain about your career path, to be uncertain about your major. Please don't feel as though like you're alone in this process, and we're here to help. We also provide comprehensive employment services to assist students as well as alumni with short-term as well as long-term employment needs. One thing that I think is really exciting, a lot of times students will go on and they'll go to a Fresno State, let's say, for example. We're a big feeder school for Fresno State, and students will graduate from Fresno State, but they'll come back and they'll use our services for employment, for their employment needs, to look for jobs or maybe to update their resume. This is our team. So if you were to walk into our office or maybe call, you'll most likely speak to either one of our student aides or perhaps with Martin. Martin is our office specialist. We also have Mary Beth Wynn. She is one of our employment specialists. We have Cindy Dunn. She's our job placement coordinator. And then you have myself and you have Jesse.
All right. Okay, FCC has grouped its majors into 5 pathways. Each pathway group consists of related majors with similar core classes and career paths. The Arts and Communication and Language pathway. If you enjoy connecting with people either through language, art, music, writing, speech, and you like reaching out to bring people together, you might be interested in a major in this pathway. Can anyone name or guess a major in this pathway? If you don't know, here's some examples of some majors in this pathway. Some of the majors are art, ASL, and music. Our next pathway is the Culture, Education, and Society pathway. If you're interested in organizations, laws, politics, interactions, and social bonds, you might be interested in a major in this pathway. Some of the majors include psychology, poli-sci, and ethnic studies. The next pathway is business. If you're interested in organizations, how they operate, and how to get things done, you might be interested in a major in this pathway. Some examples would be accounting, marketing, and of course, business. The next pathway is the health and STEM pathway. If you enjoy exploring and understanding the world around you, and you enjoy helping others, you might be interested in a major in this pathway. Some examples would be dental hygiene, nursing, and food and nutrition. The next pathway is the tech and trade pathway. If you enjoy working with tools and mechanical or electrical drawings, machines, and equipment, you might be interested in a major in this pathway. And some of the majors in this pathway include auto technology, construction, and electrical systems.
So one thing that research has shown is that it is of great benefit for you to utilize career and planning and employment services. And a lot of students don't take advantage of this while they're attending their college. And so we want to encourage you to utilize our services. So please, if you're interested in doing the career counseling, the career assessments, please come and visit us, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then, of course, the employment services. And one thing about choosing a major or having a clear idea of what you would like to pursue is it enables you to choose your classes effectively and measure your progress. So what you'll be wanting to develop, and maybe you've already have a kind of an idea and have met with a counselor, but maybe you're not 100% sure, but you're doing a student ed plan, your SEP. You've probably heard those letters, SEP. And I like to call that student ed plan your roadmap. And I remember going to college 100 years ago and just being able to see, it's so cool to be able to check off, okay, I finished that class, I finished that class, I finished that class. And it was exciting for me. I loved going to school. Obviously, I loved going to school. I worked at a college. But it was really nice to know that I was one step closer to that degree. So it enables you to measure your progress, and it gives you direction and focus. So when you have your major and you know what you would like to pursue, there's less distraction, and it prepares you for future opportunities. And I like this one because when you have an idea or you're confident about your major, then you are able to perhaps become involved in networking opportunities. And what I mean by that is, let's say you choose engineering as a path and you're confident about that. A lot of classrooms will have professionals come and talk to students about the industry, and you can then talk to those folks and make that connection. So when you are interested in perhaps doing an internship or maybe a job shadow, you can ask them for a business card, and you can then connect with them and say, hey, I heard you speak in this class, and would it be possible for me to spend a couple hours and shadow you and pick your brain or do an informational interview? Another thing that research has shown is that campus life, college life is really important. And so if you have the availability, most of our students work. If you have the availability to become involved in campus activities or a campus group that pertains to your major, that's also something that is really, really beneficial for you. Not only is it fun, but it also connects you to those folks. It connects you to an advisor who then can, in the long term, say, hey, maybe when you're looking for a job, I can connect you to someone who's looking for someone. So again, it helps you develop and get those connections while you're pursuing your education, and also for eventually when you get your degree and are looking for employment. So here are some of the career services. And I find myself saying this a lot, but please take advantage of this while you're a currently enrolled student, because once you leave Fresno City College, these services are no longer available to you. So we have career assessments that we do as students, and some students may take a little bit longer, and that's okay. It's not a race. We help students, and again, we meet one-on-one with students because everybody's different. Everybody has their own situation. And I think they're fun because it's all about you. They're not IQ tests, or they're not aptitude tests. We're not going to see how fast you can put together something. But it's really learning about your interests, your skills, your values. And I like to say it's about connecting the dots and seeing what's interesting is when we do this, a lot of times certain areas or even certain careers will reappear. And if that happens, let's say I'm working with Celeste. If that happens with Celeste, I'll say, okay, Celeste, this career keeps popping up. You're telling yourself something. Now, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to do that career, but it means that we should probably explore it a little bit more in depth. And with career assessments, it's not a one and done thing. It takes some time and reflection. But again, the feedback we get from students is it's enjoyable because again, it's all about you. And again, it is self-paced, it's one-on-one. Now, career exploration, some students maybe perhaps they're pretty confident in the area that they want to pursue a major in. So maybe they want to explore a little bit more. Maybe they say, you know what, I'm pretty confident that I want to go into psychology, but I want to know what can I do with psychology? Or I'm pretty confident I want to go into business administration, but what can I actually do in business administration? That's where we can look at, okay, what are some career options? What is the labor market like right now? We can look at that. And that's where the career counseling comes in. And also educational planning resources. It's not uncommon for students to say, okay, I'm thinking about Fresno, but maybe, you know what, I want to look at Southern California, or maybe I'm thinking about moving to another state. What are some options? And we can look at, we can assist you with that. But again, take advantage of that while you're a currently enrolled Fresno City College student. And we do offer services in person as well as via Zoom because we know that some students it might be difficult, whether family obligations, work obligations. But if you do it remotely, it is a lot easier for us to do it if you have a laptop or a desktop because it can be difficult to do the assessments on a telephone. Okay, here we go. Employment services. Now, this is another part of career and employment services, our employment side of the house. And we offer some phenomenal services with the employment. We have the job search assistance. Job Speaker is our electronic jobs board where the employers post, jobs that they're seeking, people to apply for. We have 6 computer labs that can be utilized for job search, and our computers do shut down at 4:30. Resume and cover letter assistance and interview prep. So let's say you go to one of our job fairs and they're like, oh, and we want to interview you next Thursday and you're not ready for that. Tell me about yourself, or why should we hire you, or greatest strength and greatest weakness question. We can assist you with those with a mock interview. And again, we have events and internship and volunteer opportunities. And I will share some exciting upcoming events that we already have scheduled for the spring. And again, these services are available to you in person or remote, and these services are available to you as an alumni. So you're going to have a 7-digit ID number. So just remember that 7-digit ID number, that's yours for life. These are some internship services, and one of them is called the Learning Aligned Employment Program, also known as LAPE. And this is an internship service that is career-related experience in your field of study. And then the other one is Central Valley College Corps. And this is an internship that is dealing with societal challenges in the Central Valley, and it would be related to a nonprofit organization. And the contact person for these 2 internship programs is Mr. Matt Matera. And this is his email address. One thing with Fresno City College, it's the person's first name dot last name at fresnocitycollege.edu. So when you have a professor, it'll be their first name dot last name at fresnocitycollege.edu. So for more information, you would want to contact Mr. Matera regarding these internship services. So these are some of the additional services that we have. We have career and job expos. We have bulletin boards throughout the campus. There's one bulletin board, for example, over by our cafeteria. Workshops and presentations. We do presentations in the classroom. Another popular workshop that we have every fall is the FBI workshop. We actually have a Special Agent Rodriguez. I think he's already slated to come in the fall. And they talk about career opportunities and internship opportunities with the FBI. We collaborate with the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, which is also known as HACU. And we have general work experience classes. And as I already shared with you about our computer lab. But I do want to talk because my colleague, Mary Beth, has put together some dates, and I just wanted to kind of share with you some exciting opportunities that we already have. She already has these scheduled, and you can look for flyers and posters around campus. But January 23rd, which is coming up real soon, Haku is going to be having a Zoom presentation on Tuesday, January 23rd at 11 a.m. And they're going to be doing a Zoom presentation to talk about their paid internships that they'll be having for this summer. And Haku is a competitive process. You do have to apply for it and compete for it. And it's throughout the United States. And they have internships through a lot of them are in Washington, D.C., but there are some in California, and it's an amazing opportunity for you to gain skills, experience. And we have had students at Fresno City College get selected for the program, and it is wonderful information to go on your resume, and eventually your vitae. On February 3rd, there is an early care and education job fair at Fresno City College from 10 to 2. And these are career opportunities agencies who are hiring in the education field. So if you're thinking about maybe going into teaching or child development, this might be something you could check out. And then this is to be announced. It's a Zoom event. So this is for federal jobs. Now, if you're interested in eventually working with the federal government, there is a process that they are very particular about in terms of applying for a federal job. If you've ever applied on usajobs.gov, you know it can be a very challenging application. And Mary Beth has been able to connect with someone who is actually going to go through the process of how to correctly apply through USA Jobs for federal government employment, which I think is amazing. Then on February 22nd, Span Construction and Engineering, they recently got a contract to build all Costco's worldwide. So if you, and Home Depot's, excuse me. So if you or if someone you know is interested in that type of work, they're going to be hiring building assemblers, no experience needed, welders, construction graduates, and more. And they're going to actually be here on campus from 1 to 5 in the FCC staff dining room on February 23rd. And then we're going to be having our job fair on April 17th. This is going to be our spring job fair from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So there'll be a variety of employers wanting to talk to our students. So again, if you're thinking about you're thinking, oh, I want to apply for a job, or just maybe even talk to an employer about, what kind of jobs they have. It might be good for you to consider putting together a resume or updating your resume now. I know you're thinking, oh, April is way far out. It'll come up real fast on you. I've worked here for quite a while, and spring semester always goes by super, super quick. And then our virtual job fair is tentatively going to be May 1st through the 17th. And the virtual job fair is always popular. It's not, employers don't It's a virtual job fair. They don't actually have like Zoom events, but they post their jobs virtually and you can go in and look what they're hiring for. So those are some very, very exciting events that are happening in the spring. And you will also see posters and flyers on those. And you can always come into our office for more information. And I want to thank my colleague Mary Beth for getting us that exciting list of events. And then this is our work experience 19. And so if you're working or if you're volunteering, you can earn units for that work or those volunteer hours. So if you're thinking where, you know what, I want to earn, so I need some extra units. This might be an avenue for you to explore with your academic counselor. And this is General Work Experience 19. General Work Experience 19. And this is kind of an overview. You learn what it takes to get ahead in the work environment. And Gabriel and Maxine are phenomenal, and both of these classes are online. Maxine's class is a short-term class, so it begins March 11th. Gabriel's class starts next week, Monday. All right. I'll let Jesse take over.
All right. Thank you, Karen. So we're sharing a lot of information with you, and we don't expect you to remember it all, to write it all down, but you're going to be able to find the information at our office website, our Career Employment Center page, and you can access this information by typing in www.fresnocitycollege.edu/CEC. And it'll take you directly to our webpage. We have online counseling resources that we'd like to share with you. Um, they're free. You can access My Next Move at mynextmove.org. It's a free website to conduct career research. So if you want to look at careers, this is an excellent website to use. We recommend it. It's very user-friendly. We also recommend Career Coach. You can find that on our webpage. And within Career Coach, it has an embedded assessment, and it has FCC majors in it. So I would like for you to use them, and that way you can get kind of a little bit of a head start on conducting career research. Here's where to find us. We're located in the library on the East Wing in LI 147. We're right to the right as you enter the East Wing, and we're across the building that's called the Language Arts Building. We're right across from it. That's our phone number, and those are our days and times of operation. And again, we have computers here in our office that you can use to conduct career research on your own, or to write your resume or cover letter. And those computers, we have 6 here, those shut down at 4:30.
And so what is coming next? So tomorrow there will be a campus tour and resource fair, and Fresno City College Career and Employment Center will have a booth out there. There will be a virtual My Tour and Canvas workshop on Friday. And they do have more resources available on the RAM Ready webpage, which is the fresnocitycollege.edu/RAM Ready. And they will have an online survey that they will send to your student email. So when we work with students, we tell students, be prepared that that's how the college communicates with you, is through your student email. So, and then of course, this is kind of, and we would like to take you to our webpage. So I'm going to stop share and get over to our Fresno City College homepage. And then I'd like to navigate to our webpage to show you. But you can also schedule an appointment by emailing CEC@fresnocitycollege.edu. That will take you to, usually Martin will open up that email, or you can always call the general line 442-8294. So before I go to our web page, I wanted to ask if Celeste or Mel, if you have any questions. There's only a few of us, so please, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I also don't want you to feel shy to ask any questions. And you can always ask the question in the chat if you'd like. Or if I may, if I can ask you, do both of you have a major selected?
I actually don't have a major selected. I was going to Fresno State prior to this, but I'm taking a couple of classes in Fresno City. So I am undeclared, but at Fresno State, I was going for teaching. Yeah.
So you were going for teaching. Are you, so you're interested in teaching or education?
Yeah, I'm interested in teaching or education. However, I've been kind of looking at the sides of like psychology, maybe a little more an expansion of what I want to do. Just because I sat there in like my teaching courses and they were like intriguing and very interesting. But I felt like once I got into the aspect of like sitting there and actually thinking of like the mind, psychology really interested me. Mhm.
Oh, so you know what you might want to do if interested, and once maybe and so you're taking some psych classes now at Fresno City College?
No, actually, I wanted to schedule an appointment with the counselor that way I could speak about my classes a little bit more.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. So once you talk to a counselor and once, kind of the dust settles, and that's what happens a lot for us is once the first 2 weeks, it's kind of kind of chaotic. But once the dust settles and you talk to a counselor and the classes are secure, if you want, it sounds like maybe career exploration, career counseling might be more what you'd be interested in, not necessarily career assessments, to explore like the psychology and maybe because that, how that fits into that. So that might be something you would want to consider. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
Do
Okay.
both of you know where to locate our majors here at Fresno City College at the Fresno City College website?
I actually just figured it out kind of messing around earlier today.
Yeah. It is a little bit of a maze, and maybe when we transition to the website, Karen, we could show where they're located.
And let me see here. And, why it won't let me. Okay, so I'm trying to exit. I'm trying to go to my Google here. There we go. There we go. So can everyone see that okay?
Mhm.
Okay, so first thing I wanted to do is show where our website is, and then I would like to go to the RAM pathways. So we are under, if you're on the Fresno City College webpage, here's Campus Life, and we are right here, Career and Employment Center. So you can always click on Career and Employment Center. So here's where the employment opportunities are. So if you wanted to, find employment, and I don't want to make anybody nauseous with my moving around. Here's job readiness, career major exploration. So like you can, look here, what are the career assessments, how to make an appointment, where you can click here. Okay, and so here's RAM pathways right here. This is what Jesse was talking about. Here's a My Next Move that we were talking about earlier. So we have the resources on our webpage. But let's say you don't go to our webpage. Let's say you're back at Fresno City College. So let's say you don't go to our Career and Employment Center. You can always go to academics. I like to go to academics and then go over to RAM Pathways.
Okay.
So Celeste, you had mentioned psychology. And I always tell people psychology is my first love. And so psychology is actually under culture, education, and society. So what we're trying to do, like most schools across the United States, is they're trying to go into pathways. Not everybody calls them pathways, but they're trying to go into a pathway type of model. So you would want to they're trying to have students kind of stick with the academic counselor or counselors that are in the pathway versus having students. And that's why it's another reason it's so important to have your major selected. So that way you can stick with the academic counselor that's in your pathway. Now, that does not mean that you can't change your major. Please don't think that, okay, I've selected my major, I have to stay with it regardless, even if I hate it. No, 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 no. We have students that change their major. We don't want you to stick with the major if you absolutely hate it. If you're thinking, oh, this isn't my pathway, then absolutely, you can change majors. But if psychology is your passion and child development education is in the same pathway, then you would just go to this, you would click this culture, education, and society. If you're a current or returning student, then you would click on here to make an appointment. If you were a brand new student, you would click over here. So this is how you can make appointments. Now, if you were a student and you're like, I have no idea, I have absolutely no idea what I want to do. Now you can browse these different pathways, but you can also hit find your career. And this is what Jesse was talking about. And this is the career, and this is the interest assessment. And this interest assessment is, we recommend that you do the 60 question one. The 6 question one is just not, it just does not give you enough information. And this is an assessment I like to do with students when I'm doing career assessments, because it gives you what is also known as the REASEC or the Dr. John Holland code. And it's an assessment that really kind of helps you understand about your personality. It's all tied to personality research. I don't know if you have anything you wanted to share about that with the students, Jesse.
Right. That's an important thing to consider when you're thinking about a career is the things that make who you are. And so we have a personality assessment that we'd like to use. But this one has the REASEC assessment, which we also like, and that's the one that's embedded in this one. And feel free to try it. Uh, and if you'd like to come in and talk about the results, you're welcome. Or if you have questions about the assessment and about how to read the major, you know, you can make a schedule a meeting with us. So we have different assessments that we can take you through, and we go at your pace. We know that school comes first, studying and taking your exams, studying for your exams, and you may have other responsibilities. And but we go at your pace, and this is a great place to start on your own. A lot of our students are very independent, and they like to uh, you know figure it out on their own. I highly recommend that even though you may be independent and you figure things out, when you schedule or when you register for classes, uh, make sure you meet with a counselor to make sure that you've picked the right classes. Sometimes students make a mistake. They pick the right, maybe they think they may be picking the right classes, but they are actually not. Um, But here you go. You're looking at some of our majors that are that you might be interested based on the results of your assessment. These are suggested majors that it gives you in the career coach assessment.
So as you can see, I had just typed in, and this is what's nice about logging onto your own account, because when you save your own account, then you can, or when you develop your own account, you can sign in and develop your own account. You can save all these things. But right here, I had just typed in psychology because Celeste had mentioned psychology. And as you saw, it gave all this information about psychology teachers, industrial organizational psychologists, social and human service assistants. So you can see how it just gives a wealth of information. Then it also talks about available programs that we have here at Fresno City College, which you can look at. And then it talks about what a social and human service assistant, which again is kind of a big umbrella in terms of labor market research, wages, employment, and then they talk about live job postings. Now, one thing with live job postings, when we work, when I work with the student, when we get to a point in the career assessments, it's usually later on in the career assessments when a student has kind of figured out between 3 and 5 kind of majors that they're pretty, or careers, if you will, that they're pretty confident on, then we start doing labor market research. So it's kind of like, what are current employers looking for? What's their, in terms of what are the duties? What are the education requirements? What's the wage? Because we're not able to forecast what it's going to be exactly like when you graduate. Just like we weren't able to predict COVID in 2020, we don't know what it's going to look like exactly when you graduate. And so sometimes I think a lot of times when you're in high school, it's like, what's your major? What's your major? What's your major? And it's like, oh. But a lot of times I think it's helpful to kind of go, what would you like to do? What is the kind of the career? And job titles can be tricky because one thing can be very different from another employer. But what is a general idea? What is a general career you'd like to do? Because then we can kind of almost work backwards. Okay, well, what are the requirements in terms of the educational requirements of that? Now, some are very specific. If you want to be a medical doctor, well, we know you're going to need a medical degree. But there are some business type jobs that may require different types of degrees. So do you see how that can be very, very unique to the individual? So I guess one thing I tell students is don't panic, especially like, for example, psychology. It's like, don't panic exactly what type of psychology you're going to be doing, because it may change as you go along. There's lots of different types of psychology pathways, but I think it's wonderful to explore it now. But if you're totally, I have absolutely, no clue, I think the assessments really, really do help to connect the dots. And it has happened. It's actually happened twice now, because it just recently happened with another student, where it's like, I haven't thought about that in so long. And it kind of reawakens things where it's like, yeah, I forgot that I loved that so much as a child. And it opens up your kind of desire to explore other areas that you had perhaps forgotten about. So again, take advantage of the career counseling if you're interested while you're a currently registered student, or currently enrolled student taking classes, I should say. Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to add, or any questions? And then I think on the website, I forgot to show, Jesse, you had brought this on Zoom. I always have so many little doodads here. On our website, if you scroll down, we do have a link directly to our names. So if you want to reach out to us directly and say, hey, I was in the Ram Ready workshop, Ram Ready presentation, and I really want to set up an appointment. The dust has settled, or if you want to do it, this afternoon, hey, I know my class schedule, and I want to set up an appointment to do career assessments, or I want to set up an appointment to do career exploration, then reach out to us so we can get you on our books. And for the career assessment piece, I usually say the first appointment takes the full hour, because we do an intake, we get to know you a little bit better, and we do the first assessment. The other appointments don't usually take as long. And career exploration, it can vary. It depends on, because sometimes career exploration will go into career assessments. It all depends. Again, every student is unique. And that's what we like about, that's what I love. It really is nice to just meet the student on what they need. Any questions? And you can write them in the chat. And I apologize, Mel. I saw that we had a chat. You had said that you hadn't declared your major yet. And that's okay. That's okay.
So, if we could, Karen, go back to the Fresno City College website. And I just want to point out that you can go to each of the pathways if you're exploring, and looking at our majors here. But there's also another way to do that without going through the pathway. So if you go to academics, and then to the left, it's the second one. It would be majors. When you click on majors, then you get the list of majors that we have here. So
There's a lot.
without going through the pathways. And if you click the forward arrow of a major you're interested in knowing more about, or knowing about the classes in the package of that major, let's click something. For instance, construction. There's three options there. And if you click on one, it will show you the classes that are the core classes and any options that you might have. It tells you the units of each, and this you can print out, and it will help you follow. If you're planning to take it, if you're in progress, and when you've completed it, you can keep track of your progress with this form.
And-
So
yeah.
mhm.
No, and I really like this, and I actually have a couple students that are interested in this pathway construction. And one thing, and we can get real creative when we're doing major and career research. And I've had students where they're kind of deciding between a couple majors, and I've taken out the catalog, and we've actually read the description of these classes. I don't know if you've read the catalog and actually read the description of these classes, because sometimes it's helpful to do that, because it's like, these are the classes that you'll be sitting in as your major. And how does it sound to you? I mean, and I know reading it can be very different than actually being in the class, but I mean, hopefully you're excited about that. Hopefully it's like, wow, that sounds so cool. Because if you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds like watching paint dry, and and then it's like, okay, that's going to be your major. Then you might need to kind of do a little reflection.
I emphasize that too with my students. I tell them, how does it feel to uh, want to study this class? Does it feel like it'll be boring to you, or does it excite you? Do you want to learn this subject, what's offered in this class? Those are clues to you that whether maybe you should go into this major or not. If it's totally boring, then it doesn't make sense to you to consider it seriously. Look, so it's, you can look at your major, then look at the classes that are the package of this major, and then ask yourself, which ones are the most interesting, and then pick the one that's most interesting. And if you're interested in knowing, what can I do with this major? What kind of career I can do with I can go into with this major, we can help you with that. Figure out what you can do with this major.
So exactly.
Yeah.
Are there any questions? Did you have anything that wanted to show on the web page, Jesse?
Let's see. Well, you probably already know this might be a review for you, but what you're seeing are majors that require taking classes in the major and classes that are general education. Those are math, English, history, poli-sci, those classes. You also will have to take along with others that are general education classes to earn a degree. Now, some students say, I just want to earn a certificate. What that means is that you don't take general education classes. You just take the classes that are listed in that certificate. And as you see your screen, it's on the right side that you can click on certificates on the bottom under majors. And then when you click on that, then you can see the certificates that we offer. And we offer quite a bit. You can call them specialties too, or think of them as specialties, Maybe you're already working for a lot of our students and they want to progress in their job and learning something particular that has to do with their job. Earning a certificate would allow them to move up in their job. Some students start with earning a certificate because maybe they're not the best students or they've been out of school for a while and they want to get their feet wet and about getting back into school. And sometimes they start with a certificate and then take general education classes and kind of catch up and then eventually earn their degree.
And it's always good, again, if you're as you go along, if you have these certificates as you go along and get your associates, it's always good to have these on your resume. Absolutely, because these can be stackable, so definitely keep track of these. It's something you've earned. So definitely want to keep track of this information for your resume.
And you probably already know this might be reviewed, but when you're considering a degree, you'll have to choose between three general education patterns. One is for a student who's considering going to a private school. You would follow the GETC pattern for general education classes. And if you're considering going on to a university that's not a private school, then like the CSU universities, you would follow that one. And if you are just happy to just earn a degree from our school, Fresno City College, then your choice might be the Fresno City College general education pattern. There's some differences between all of them, but that you will have to meet with the academic counselor to look at the differences and consider what university you would like to move on to, and then the academic counselor can help you make that choice, which one is the best way or best choice to make.
Well, I'm so afraid that we're going to just end abruptly at 12:30.
Yes, I was thinking about the same thing.
Because we had some Zoom problems earlier where we just all of a sudden just got abruptly disconnected. So do any of you here, I'll stop share because let me stop share. And then let me stop the recording. Okay.